Thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you here today. As a 23-year high school math teacher, I have the honor to represent 3.2 million people who absolutely believe in the power of education to transform lives. And the passion and the commitment that brought them into the profession is what they bring to classrooms from pre-K to graduate every single day, despite incredible challenges. As you deliberate about the reauthorization of ESEA, I hope you spend some time reflecting on a very fundamental or basic question. What do you believe is the purpose of public education for the United States for today in the 21st century? When I think of my grandchildren, I think about what it is it ought to provide them for their life. I want you to visualize a circle divided into 4 quadrants. One of those quadrants I would assume would be academics. And when I think about what might be in there, I think of a very broad curriculum, 21st century skills, understanding what a student needs to know and be able to do in this coming century. It would be rich with arts and science and geography, history, health, PE. As we talk about a global society, we must make sure that they have the ability to compete. And I know there would be foreign language in there. But when you look at the current system in that entire quadrant for academics, it's been narrowed to a very small sliver. And we look at math and reading as if somehow measuring that will determine the success of a student, a school, or even a district. I would think one of the other quadrants for the purpose of American public education has to do with justice and equal opportunity. For someone who grew up in a small rural community in Iowa with 1,700 people in my town, I had the opportunity to be here today. The system that government provided gave me the opportunity at my American dream. And so part of that purpose is to ensure that every student in America has access to that possibility and those opportunities. I would hope that another quadrant in that purpose would be to take the ideas and the ideals and the responsibility of citizenship in a democratic society and move them to the next generation. And I would hope that part of that purpose would reflect the development of the whole child, not just the academic, as they grow into productive adults who can balance work and family and faith and community. But it's part of all of that. And what's so important to reflect on that purpose is because until you do that, it's very difficult to determine the standards for accountability and assessment of the system. In my written testimony, I spoke in detail of the inextricable link between investment in education and a strong economy and a competitive nation. Education is the driver for individual and national success. Students in impoverished communities too often don't attend safe schools, don't have safe passage to and from, and don't have access to great teachers on a regular and consistent basis. And our challenge in reauthorizing ESEA is to ensure those benefits reach all students in all communities. 3 things I would mention in the reauthorization. Number 1, codify those things that we know work based on research and the people who work there. Children are not experiments. Policies on accountability, assessments, and transforming schools should follow research, not dogma. Accountability and flexibility are not mutually exclusive. We are encouraged by Secretary Duncan's remarks about being tight on goals and loose on means, providing flexibility of how to achieve it, and we would encourage Congress to make laws that honor that pledge. Number 2, the federal government should only incentivize initiatives in which collaborative plans from beginning to end involve all essential stakeholders. In the last 25 years, one thing we know, as we look at places that succeed, there's a common thread that you must have collaboration. You must have management, the board, the employees in their unions sit down together and say, what is it that we need to do to transform and make it right for the students in our school? They must then reach out to parents in the community. We cannot afford to fail. Our students cannot afford us to fail, and the status quo is unacceptable. And finally, in the true spirit of the original ESEA from 1965, federal law and regulations are the only way to eliminate vast disparities. There's a corridor of shame in every state. Therefore, a condition of receiving federal money, all states should be required to submit a plan for remedying those disparities in all of the key areas that make a great public school. Publish them, post them on the web, total transparency, and then allow the citizens to hold the state and local governments accountable for implementation of that plan. The road is a difficult one, but it's worth the effort. And I want you to know that 3.2 million people stand ready to move on this journey and work with our partners to transform public education. Thank you, sir.